People of other color exists, the color other than black exists. So they have to put it in the people of color. And even now, when they were talking about like white supremacy in US is like a big thing, like political correctness in US is like a big thing, and then they will still continue to say there are people of color, there are people of color designer in theater. Although I'm not in that anymore, but when they were trying to put the terms and then to include every one of the people that are not white, but then at the same time as an Asian, like I know I'm not like included per se. So it's become like a very, very interesting experience when you're trying to introduce everyone in the team, like for example, like people of color designers, etc., etc.
Because you're not exactly in that role.
Yeah, and also like they do not really distinguish between like international and locals. Like I think like as an Asian in America, like being native, being local is very different from being international, especially if you're kind of like, I'm from Hong Kong, so it's like you have some behavior of Chinese, which is sometimes like you're gonna be staying with the Chinese, but then a lot of Chinese in America are actually only staying with Chinese. So it's like they're not becoming part of the society per se, like from my limited perspective. So yeah, this people of color, the term people of color is like really, really weird.
A bit unfair. I said something like that. But at that time, people start to comfort me or said, "So what do you need? How do you need help?" And the teacher said something about, "This is understandable. We understand this, but you just have to ask for more help. We can solve this. We can really work it out." And at that point, I said, "Okay, I understand. Thank you." That I didn't want to say, but I had to, because it's, yeah, I understand, thank you. Yeah, I understand, thank you. Yeah, that's something you have to say. Sometimes you have to keep going, and that's really, that's the reality of drama school, and I've learned a lot from that.
I think it have to be Hong Kongers, like especially when I was like staying in America for that few years. Like how I think the senses for like identity arises like during those years, and then when I think about what kind of art that I want to do, the reason that I'm coming back to Hong Kong instead of staying over there is like because I want to do something that represent Hong Kong, and in a way like you could only do that locally.
A word to describe me would be sensitive. Like not necessarily in a good way. It can be helpful sometimes, but like what I've just said. Actually, I just came up with this word from hearing what I said. Like when I was asked 2 questions, I'll go into that kind of really sensitive zone of some very intimate experience that I had, and I really overthink things.
Anxiety, because I'm the person who's always worrying that I'm not good enough, or I'm not needed, or I'm not loved.